Say who is Doctor Who? Where is he from? What does he do? They wonder who is Doctor Who. So I ask you, who's Doctor Who?
Welcome back to the Doctor Who Collectors Podcast, the podcast that talks about the world of Doctor Who collecting, Doctor Who collectors, and Doctor Who merchandise from the past, present, and future. I am Larry Van Mersbergen, your host, and I've been a collector of Doctor Who since 1981, and I was one of the first Doctor Who dealers in Chicago from 1985 to 1989 as the founder of the shop Bundles from Britain. Our theme song is Who's Doctor Who? By Barry Mason and Les Reed, performed by Fraser Hines, who traveled with the Second Doctor, one of the longest-running characters on Doctor Who. Consider becoming a friend of the podcast. We're hoping the new year will bring more subscriptions. You can do it a couple different ways. You can start with a $5 a month subscription at patreon.com/Doctor Who Collectors Podcast. I always thank my patrons. You can also support us at Podbean at drwhocollectors.podbean.com. Download the app today for some of the best podcasts. You can also hear this podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Spotify, and Podbean. We are a proud member of the Doctor Who Podcast Alliance, and you can see other great Doctor Who podcasts at drwhopodcastalliance.org. We're sorry for the long hiatus. In my own personal world, my last job was eliminated when the company was sold, so I now have a new job, and the hours are different, so I'm looking for time when I can record this podcast. And of course, I'm also going to do things a little bit differently in the format. Today, we are going to talk about the Unofficial 1987 Doctor Who Annual, which was released just recently. And we're going to talk a little bit about the roundup. Instead of doing a one roundup episode at the end of the month, which takes a lot of time and effort, we're going to catch you up on what's coming out since the recording of this podcast and where you can get this wonderful new stuff for Doctor Who. So with that in mind, we're going to start right away with the 1987 Doctor Who Annual, Unofficial Doctor Who Annual. As you know, World Distributors had stopped issuing Doctor Who annuals after 1986, which means a couple things. Number one, that Sylvester McCoy never had an annual, and Colin Baker only had the 85 and the 86, so he didn't get one in 87. So the 87 Unofficial Annual is a non-profit effort by Terraqueous Distributors, and this annual has been contributed to by Colin Baker, Nicola Bryant, and many others, just to give you an idea of who is involved with this project. The annual, what I usually refer to on Facebook as an annual tradition. They have a nice article in the front about the annual event. They also produce sales figures for the Doctor Who annuals from 1966 to 1984 through 86, with the 1966 annual coming in at 200,659 copies, which is why there are a lot of them available. The first annual is not as rare, and I've said that before. There were a lot of them. The second annual only sold 64,000, and so, and going down, and then it went way down. In 68, down to 22,000, in 70, 17,000, that pink annual, which is extremely rare. In 72, of course, there was no annual produced, and we talked about the Unofficial 72 annual. 73, they could not get the sales figures, but in 74, only 57,000. And then it picked up again with the Tom Baker annuals up into the six-figure sales area, and then it dropped off again in the 80s. So, and from 84 to 86, no annuals were available. So it was very interesting. There were a lot of unused artwork, a lot of things that went down the line for that. So it's a really interesting start to the history of the Doctor Who annuals. They were produced by World Distributors, which also produced annuals for other television shows. I've seen annuals for Lost in Space, for Space 1999, for The Man from U.N.C.L.E., James Bond. And you can find those out there if you're looking through the eBay or the used book websites. And this particular annual, as I'm opening it up here, is actually larger than the usual annual. It's 121 pages, and there's a lot of wonderful artwork in here. I'm trying to find a credits page. I went through this before, and I just don't see the credits page here in the front. Let's take a look. Yes, here we go. Basically, we've got contributing to this annual includes a lot of great names, including David J. Howe, who we talked to at Chicago TARDIS. We've got, let's see, it looks like Colin Baker himself contributed to this. Alistair Pearson did some illustrations in here. Fraser Hines, of course, did a little article in here. There's a lot of great people that contributed to this amazing effort. And I do know for a fact that we are coming up on 2021, which would be the anniversary of the first appearance of the Master. And they are currently working on the Unofficial Master Annual. This annual is no different from other Doctor Who annuals. It contains stories. The first story, The Domino Effect. And these stories are very well written, well illustrated. And there's some wonderful, wonderful writing in here. I did read through some of these, and they are just absolutely breathtaking. I'm not going to read anything from here. I don't want to take away from it, but do get a copy of this. There are games. There's Escape the Matrix. There's some comic strips. There are other more stories. There's facts about the series. There's a word search. You can't have an annual without a word search. So lots of wonderful things here that really made this. There's also a nice ad in here for the Syl and the Devil Seeds of Arador by David J. Howe. Very, very, it's a wonderful, wonderful video and book. So yeah, David Howe actually asked about this annual at Chicago TARDIS. There are two different editions of this annual. There's the contributors edition, which was printed only for the people who contributed to the annual, which is extremely rare because only a certain number of copies were produced, and they're only available to collectors if the person who had it doesn't want it or puts it up for sale. It has a different cover. The actual edition that comes out is features Colin Baker, on the cover with the Unofficial Annual 1987. It is the same size as the traditional annual. On the back is a nice picture of Nicola Bryant, as portrayed back in 1987. So some wonderful things. They actually introduced Bonnie Langford as Melanie Bush in there as well. Is this collectible? Absolutely, because as I think I've mentioned before, the 1972 annual became unavailable at the end of January, so now it is only available on secondary sale sites, including eBay and Abe's Used Books, and you might have to pay a premium for them. We actually gave away a copy of the 72 annual at the Chicago TARDIS convention. And just a little plug for Chicago TARDIS. We will have the next Chicago TARDIS in 2020 and Thanksgiving weekend at the Westin in Lombard, Illinois. I will be there. I am usually a speaker. And you can, if you're there, please say hello. I'm not sure if we'll do another live podcast. That remains to be seen. The first one we did was very successful. So that's what's going on with the 1987 annual. You can find them best on their Facebook page. If you type in Facebook, go to Facebook and search for Terraqueous. That's TERRAQUEOUS. And that takes you to a link to where it's being published. You cannot, it's published through lulu.com. And the price is pretty reasonable. I believe it's somewhere around $28 or $29 for the annual, a little bit less expensive than the 72. The 72 annual is a lot bigger. So you can't really search for it on Lulu. I found that it's kind of a hidden link. So go through their Facebook page. And if you're not a Facebook user, I believe they're also on Twitter. You can find them or do a Google search for that same publisher. That's Terraqueous. That's TERRAQUEOUS. More after the break.
Hello, fellow time travelers. I'm Tony Whitt with the Doctor Who Target Book Club podcast, the podcast in which we undertake the insert adjective here task of discussing in story order all of the Doctor Who novelizations. I'm joined by
Dalton Hughes
and by
Alison Fitz-Seyfried.
and we record our episodes twice a month. You are listening to the Doctor Who Collectors Podcast. Enjoy your travels.
And that was a nice message from another podcast I'd like to talk about, the Target Book Club podcast, hosted by Tony Whitt, featuring Dalton Hughes and Alison Fitz-Seyfried. They talk about the Target books in story order and review them, which is a very entertaining podcast that you can find them also on iTunes and Spotify. And it's a wonderful way to basically read the Doctor Who books in story order, which is not an easy task considering they were not published in story order. So the writing style may differ from one story to the next. When one book was written in 74 and the next one written in 88, 87 or 88, or even as recent as a few weeks ago, The City of Death was just released on paperback. I was a guest on two shows. We talked about The Mind of Evil and The Day of the Daleks, and I was in the room for the taping of The Three Doctors at Chicago TARDIS. So give them a listen. It's called the Target Book Club Podcast, and make sure you follow them on Goodreads. In fact, they expect you to. Enjoy your travels.
Sad, really, isn't it? People spend all their time making nice things, and other people come along and break them.
Collection protection. Talking about protecting some of our collectibles, I often talk about what's best for preserving them. And in this case, I want to talk about your Doctor Who VHS tapes. Now, going back as far as they were coming out, they were usually in paperboard sleeves. And sometimes, if you got them as ex-rentals, they were in collapsible cases. But in this case, we can also protect them both. Bags Unlimited has been around for at least 30 years, and I've been using them both as a dealer when I was selling collectibles and for protecting my own collection. Their items are designed for archival purposes. They offer VHS poly sleeves, VHS cases, box and case protectors, crystal clear paperboard sleeves, as well as storage boxes, mailers, and other items for your VCR. You can find them at bagsunlimited.com. They are not a sponsor of the podcast. They are my personal preference for collection protection.
Up there is the scanner, those are the doors, that is the chair with the panda on it. Sheer poetry, dear boy.
Now to round up what's new since the beginning of February to today's taping, which is about the middle of the month. I'll tell you what's coming out. Here is what's coming out from Amazon. Now, most of these are from amazon.co.uk, and then later on will be on the amazon.com. Remember, you can order from the UK Amazon site with your US Amazon login. In many cases, they will ship to the United States. I've done this many times. Here's what's coming out. First of all, we have the Doctor Who Atlas hardcover available for pre-order. Travel through time and space like never before in this stunning guide to the worlds of Doctor Who. Journey from Gallifrey to Skaro to Mondas and everything in between in this beautifully illustrated atlas with color maps, epic stories, and the glorious history of the many faces of the Doctor with magnificent views of the entire saga. 30 maps, character profiles of companions and monsters. This stunning collection is perfect for all Doctor Who fans, covering everything from well-known stories to little-known facts. The current price is £15.12, and it is set to be shipped on October 29th of 2020. An annual tradition, the Doctor Who Annual 2021 is available from pre-order from amazon.co.uk and amazon.com. The must-have gift for all Doctor Who fans. The Doctor Who Annual has been a tradition since 1963 with a brief stoppage in 1986 and then kind of being reinvented with the new series. And don't forget Terraqueous Publications. We talked about the 72 Unofficial Annual. They didn't run one that year. And the new 87 Annual. And I believe they're going to fill in the gaps all the way through. Join the Doctor for brand new adventures in the TARDIS, packed with activities, puzzles, stories, and more. No cover has been set as of yet, but can be pre-ordered for £7.11. Only on the Amazon UK site for now. Later, the Amazon US site will have it. It is being set for delivery by September 3rd. Next, we have the Doctor Who Christmas Anthology hardcover. Hard to talk about Christmas in February, but this is when it's going to be done. You can order this from the Amazon UK site. 12 extraordinary and festive Doctor Who stories. This perfect gift, this thrilling anthology, presents Christmassy adventures through time and space, featuring the best-loved characters and places from the Doctor Who world. It is written by popular children's author Dave Rudden. The price is set for £11.56, with delivery set for October 15th. The final cover has not been decided on yet. Next, we have the Doctor Who The Monster Vault hardcover. No information yet, but it can be pre-ordered for £17.50, and its delivery is set for October 22nd. The author is Paul Lang. Next, the Doctor Who The Faceless Ones Steelbook, DVD, and Blu-ray, the next adventure to be animated along with the existing footage. It's available for pre-order. The Steelbook, by the way, is the Blu-ray edition, which is region-free, so you can order that from the UK site and play it on your US players. Keep in mind the DVD release from the UK will not play on US players, and you might want to wait till the US announcement of that release. BBC Studios is pleased to announce that The Faceless Ones is the next animated Doctor Who release, filling a gap in missing content. Following the success of The Power of the Daleks, Shada, and the Makra Terror, The Faceless Ones will be released on DVD, Blu-ray, and as an exclusive Steelbook next year. The Steelbook is set for £28.99. It's a UK order only, but it is region-free. The DVD in the UK is £14.99. The US DVD will be $24.98. The US Blu-ray release will be £18.99, not the Steelbook. And the US price will be $24.98. Also coming back for a limited re-release is Doctor Who The Collection Season 12. If you remember the very big popular release of the first season of Tom Baker, including The Ark in Space, Genesis of the Daleks, with Sarah Jane Smith and Harry Sullivan, first broadcast in the 74-75 years. The replacement discs will be included with this release. This is a UK release only. Only the Blu-ray can be played in the US, and it is currently unavailable for orders, which means it's either sold out or it's not quite available yet. And a couple of audio CDs from the BBC are coming out. Doctor Who The Witchfinders, 13th Doctor audio CD, can be pre-ordered for £25 and will be released on July 23rd. And Doctor Who The Nightmare Realm from the 12th Doctor. Not much on this, but can be ordered for £10.99 with delivery set for November 5th. Next, we go to Forbidden Planet. It's one of my favorite sites to shop for Doctor Who items. The first one is Wicked. Ace is probably one of the most loved and iconic characters in Doctor Who, played by Sophie Aldred. This enamel pin badge captures the logo on the back of Ace's bomber jacket. It's 30 millimeters tall, will be released on June 10th, 2020, and can be pre-ordered for £7.99. Strictly limited to the first 500 issues, so get it soon. Next, we have a closer look. Character 13th Doctor TARDIS and custom insert. From A Forbidden Planet. You can also get this from character-online.com, and some retailers will have this on the Amazon UK site. So basically, the 13th Doctor's TARDIS. Some of the prototype TARDISes were doing the rounds, but the final product wasn't seen until the show actually appeared. So this is the 13th Doctor's TARDIS, adapted from previous released models, presented in the now classic style guide packaging. You can get this for £24.99 from Forbidden Planet, and the custom background can be downloaded and printed out in color and placed inside the model to give that opening, that incredible opening when she opens the doors and you see that interior. Next, we have the figurine collection Big Finish, 8th Doctor, Dalek, and Companion from Forbidden Planet. You'll be also to get this later from the Eaglemoss shop at shop.eaglemoss.com. This is available for a limited time. It's a new series of companions including the 8th Doctor, Lucy Miller, and a Time Controller Dalek, which is all from the Big Finish world. The price online is £28.49, and the price in the US is $42.39. Next, we have the Doctor Who Mega Davros special figurine, number 5. You can get this from ForbiddenPlanet.com. You can also get it from Eagle Moss. If you go to Forbidden Planet and use the code all caps WHOS12 on your basket page, you'll get 12% off all your purchases. The Mega Davros figurine captures Davros as he appeared in the first appearance in Genesis of the Daleks. And he is bound in his life support chair and explores a new method to become immortal and more powerful, as he usually does. It's 21 centimeters tall and is meticulously hand-painted to show all the little details of the chair and equipment. 109 pounds 99 from Eagle Moss, but it's so far it can be pre-ordered, but not yet on the Forbidden Planet website, so keep checking back so you can get that 12% off. Next, we have the Doctor Who figurine collection issue 174 Relay Cyberman, available from Forbidden Planet. Later will be available on Eagle Moss. And so this is, of course, £9.49 from Forbidden Planet. Next, we have the Doctor Who figurine collection, issue 173, The Renegade Dalek, from Remembrance of the Daleks. The price is £9.49. And finally, from Forbidden Planet, we have the Doctor Who Praxius t-shirt, available for a limited time. A range of 10 specially designed t-shirts will be available, focused on the new episodes of the latest Jodie Whittaker series. These t-shirts will only be available online for the duration of the pre-order only print-on-demand service, so you might have to get them quickly. Delivery will take up to 2 weeks. The price is £15.99, features a standard cut and a women's cut design. Next, one of our favorite areas here, Big Finish. We love stories, and buck up. Big Finish, The Lives of Captain Jack, Volume 3 has been announced. You can pre-order this from bigfinish.com. John Barrowman returns as Captain Jack Harkness. And the requested team here includes River Song, featuring Alex Kingston, and Camille Coduri, who appears as Jackie Tyler. The Lives of Captain Jack Volume 3 will be released in March 2020 and is available from pre-order from £19.99 exclusively from bigfinish.com. The U.S. price is somewhere around $30, and the CD and download prices may vary. If you're not a CD person, download the Big Finish app from your iTunes or Google Play Store, and you can manage your Big Finish releases digitally from there. You can see their website for much more, and don't forget to tune in every Sunday for the Big Finish podcast, The Nick and Benji Show. Talking about Eagle Moss, we mentioned a few things with the Forbidden Planet, but these are specifically to Eagle Moss. Shop.eaglemoss.com. The figurine collection magazine companion set 8 of the First Doctor. This box set collects the First Doctor with the original 3 companions of Ian, Susan, and Barbara. You can use the WHOS12 all caps to get the 12% off, and the cost is £37.99. This unfortunately does not ship to the United States, so you might want to get it from the Forbidden Planet site. Next, we have the figurine collection TARDIS console number 3 for the First Doctor, introducing the first TARDIS console model that started in 1963 and lasted all the way until the War Games, I believe. So that's the hexagonal shape with different controls, which has a central time rotor which moves. The console measures about 8.7 centimeters tall, comes with a removable casing of clear plastic, and will be pre-ordered for a delivery of March 2020 for a price of £19.99. And finally, from Eagle Moss, the Hero Collector debuts Doctor Who baking sets. They'll be available at a later date. They're not quite there yet. I need oil, water, tree bark, a saucepan, 9 containers, an old newspaper, a touch of oxbit, a chicken poo, and a biscuit. Why a biscuit? I love biscuits. This is a baking set to help create treats that are officially out of this world. I assume they're cookie cutters of some kind, so I have not seen any of that, but I will get a preview photo on our website as soon as I get one with the press release. And finally, we have this company called Rubbertoe, RUBBERTOE, and their website is rubbertoereplicas.com. And so they are presenting a limited edition 10th Doctor's sonic screwdriver, fully licensed replica based on the Series 4 version of the prop. The replica is made from aluminum, brass, machined acrylic, nylon, 3D printed resin, hand cast resin, and the usual electronics that allow the Sonic to light up. The pre-order price is, you better sit down for this one, £650, and a 50% deposit is required while they last. And that concludes what's new in Doctor Who from the beginning of February to about the 15th of February. Instead of doing our usual roundup episode, we're going to try to catch you up as we do the episodes as to what's been released. Thank you for listening to the Doctor Who Collectors Podcast. We will be delving into more rare items such as the board games of the 70s, the early VHS releases, the Doctor Who pinball machine and computer games that were released early and much later, including a Wii game that was released in the UK only. Also, we're going to be taking a look at the Doctor Who book collections. Those are collections of books that contain more than one Doctor Who story. Some were book club releases, some were compiled, some are not authorized, and we want to take a delve into that. Anyway, you can reach out to us on Facebook and Twitter at Doctor Who Collectors Podcast. Our website is drwhocollectors.com, and you can always email us at drwhocollectorspodcast@gmail.com. I'm Larry Van Mersbergen, your host. Thank you for listening, and keep collecting.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered together in front of the holy modem to witness the joining together in marriage of
Captain Jack Harkness
and
River Song.
From Big Finish Productions, The Lives of Captain Jack, Volume 3.
I'm in space, and that's amazing. Yes, really, really amazing.
I know, isn't it?
Surrounded by aliens. Amazing.
Do you know what vampires are?
Elders, nobles.
Monsters!
Don't talk about Her Majesty like that.
I need to know who I'm letting into my temple.
Queen Carla needs urgent assistance. Captain Jack would help us. The hero from the stars, the man with 1,000 lives.
I already told you Captain Jack isn't here. Oh, sorry, ma'am. I just threw my chips all over your weapon.
It's no weapon. It's magical scrying glass. You want me tell you your fortune?
Not interested. I want to know why you're trying to kill the Doctor.
I have to. It is my destiny.
You! It's you!
Sorry, have we met?
Big Finish. We love stories.
Stay out of my way, Jack Harkness.
She's gone. Who's Jack Harkness?